when I'm spent and restless, 1,000 marks I've missed. Your crosses, it's finished. Not one sin have I missed. You love me, you always have. You choose me just as I am. You love me, you always have. When I say you're absent and I feel abandoned, you stir in the stillness, and all I know is this. All I know is that you love me, you always have. You choose me just as I am. You love me, you always have. Yes, you do. Oh, you love me, you always have. You choose me just as I am. You love me, you always have. You never stop chasing, you never stop. You never stop wanting me, never stop. You never stop calling my name. I'll never know how much. You never stop. You never stop chasing, you never stop. Oh, you never stop wanting me, never stop. You never stop calling my name. I'll never know how much you love me. You always have. You choose me just as I am. You love me, you always, always have. It's hard to believe that you love me, you always have. You choose me just as I am. You love me, you always have. It's hard to believe how you love me, you always have. It's hard to believe that you love me, you always have. You always have. It's hard to believe that you always have. You always have. You always have. You always will. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. See you move, whatever it is, you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I see you move the mountains, and I believe, oh, I see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I see you do it again. I see you move the mountains, and I believe I see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I see you do it again. Oh, come and move again, The name of Jesus is greater. The name of Jesus is stronger. The name of Jesus is higher above all things. The name of Jesus is bigger. The name of Jesus has power. The name of Jesus is higher above all things. There's just something about oh, the name of Jesus. There's just something about the name of Jesus. The name of Jesus brings healing. The name of Jesus brings freedom. The name of Jesus is higher above
surprise stream time. A little earlier than usual. You know, but I was just sitting there and I was like, man, I just really want to talk about Jesus, you know? And I was like, the good thing about a stream is anyone can watch it because it saves and records. It records it and then saves it. And you can watch it at any time at your leisure, which makes it wonderful. So you can enjoy it. Okay, why are you not working here? Alright. So thanks for joining. You'll probably be watching this after I do this all. So thanks for watching. Today will probably be kind of interesting because I have no one to respond because people probably don't know where you're on right now. But if you get that notification and you join in, awesome. All right. Very cool. All right. Well, how's everyone doing today? There's no one watching right now, so there's really no response to that. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You know, if you watch this after the live stream, spend a lot of the time with the Lord, and I just love it. I hope you guys are too. I encourage you to build that relationship wherever you're at. If you're a believer, follower of Christ, or just entering, or a non-believer, or you don't even know who the heck Jesus is, especially with that one to be kind of hard to be like, oh, you're saying pray to Jesus, but I have no clue who he even is. Essentially, he's our creator and our savior, and we were made to bring him glory. So, let that resonate in your heart and just keep on searching and you'll find him. He's all around, Just cry out for him. So yeah, today we're just going to hit the verse of the day right now, and then we'll go from there. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today for the verse of the day, which is in Revelations 4:11. Let's jump into it. You are worthy, O Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they were created and have their being. Awesome. This goes exactly with what we've been talking about the last few weeks. But yeah, thanks for joining us for the verse of the day. Let's just chat and discuss it and see what the Lord reveals. Thanks for being a part of the community. We look to hear from you. Awesome. Love you guys. That's funny. This is like exactly what we've been talking about the last few days. Gosh, every time I touch that, I need to change that. Shoot. All right. Let's not touch that. I keep on messing my screens up. Awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're having a good time, like I said, enjoying the presence of the Lord. So let's just jump into this verse. The funny thing is the last few days we've just been looking at the verses of the day, and they just have had a relationship to what we've been talking about. Like everything relates to the Lord and stuff like that throughout the Bible and his guidance and everything. So everything has that relation. But essentially everything's been talking about, just building that faith in the Lord and just understanding that he's created all things. All things are his, and like just having that authority with him. And so that's very cool stuff. Awesome. So now I have to move this thing, but then it makes my screens go crazy. Yahweh, He's Yahweh. So you are worthy, O Lord and God, to receive. So it says and, so that describes the same, together. It doesn't say or Lord or God. Well, I guess would be so and Lord and God. Yeah, so it's describing like he's our Lord and our God. To receive glory, honor, and power. It's kind of an interesting fact to think that like you are worthy to receive it, but yet he created all things created. He created all things. So he's talking about our glory, our honor, our power from us, because we're created to bring glory to the Lord and honor Him in power. So for you created all things, and by your will they were created, and have their being. It's like their purpose, their being. What is it? Let me write here real quick, a little chat. Yeah, so it's a little difficult because I have no response or anything to talk about. So I guess you just get to hear me. I'm gonna have to fix that. Alrighty then. So cool. So I'd ask, hey, what are you guys thinking about? But, I can't see that response as of now. If you watch it later, then you can respond. So yeah, this is the first day doing this, and no one showed up, so it's like funny. That's my fault how I wanted to introduce an earlier stream on Mondays. So I'm going to change that actually. So on Mondays, so let's do Monday and Friday. Monday and Friday, we're going to be doing it from now on. Golly, so many changes. Alright, and then Wednesday will be 11 from now on. Yeah, there we go. Changing the times around a little bit. So yeah, now we're going to do 10 a.m. Monday and Friday. Man, when are even 9? Let's do 9 from now on. So today was at 10, but 9. I just like to focus on the Lord early in the morning before you have things going on in your day. And so essentially when I was doing it at 12, it felt like too many things would come up, and sometimes I'd forget, and I just wasn't consistent. So 9 is going to be consistency. 9 a.m. Yeah, and I think 6 is Thursday and Sunday. That's good. And then we got Real Talk, 9 a.m. Monday. So Tuesday and Saturday we don't have. So if we tried Tuesday and took Friday, obviously I like talking on Friday as well. Hello. So I'm just changing up my times a little bit. I like doing it earlier in the morning, like I was just saying, because there's less. Oh, thanks. I messed up a little bit, so I had to cut it really short on the sides. It's a little shorter than I usually cut it. But I try to cut my hair like every other week. So I'm essentially changing my times. So 9 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, 11 p.m. on Wednesday. No, actually, I can even do one. Let's see here. I'm just trying out a new time. And Wednesday even. We could do Wednesday because that would be. So what I was saying is like I like talking about the Lord early in the morning because you have less things that you've been focused on and less things going on, so you can have better clarity on Him. So it's just kind of what I'm feeling. Trying and seeing Him, for a week and see how it works out. So 9 a.m. now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Thursday and Sunday. And then, so then Tuesdays and Saturdays potentially could be, like the real life ones where, so I'm gonna be building a desk here soon. So like that will be one of the things. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Good schedule. I like it this way too. Not too early, but not early enough. Yeah. Like I didn't want to do it like at 6 because that's like way too early. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's before you have time to focus on your day. Essentially, let's just wake up with some Jesus, and then the nice thing about it is if someone can't watch it at not 12 or 9 or whatever, they have to wait. At least they have from 9 on to watch it, essentially. And so like at 12, that's 3 hours. So like say at like 10 o'clock is the time they have free or whatever, now they can watch it at that time. So that was kind of the idea. And I literally just thought of it today. So that's why I said I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll see. So we already did the verse of the day, which you missed. But it's Revelations 4:11, and as you can see it up on the screen. And I was laughing because like, hey, this is kind of what we've been talking about as well. So it's funny, everything is just relating to what we talk about lately, which is awesome. So 8. Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was 8 a.m. there. Yeah, so 8 a.m. out there. Dang, so that's early. I didn't realize it was that early out there. Yeah, so 8 a.m. But then when I move out there, it'll be 9 a.m. out there. Yeah, I think that's good. I did like 12 though. See, the thing with 12 is lunch. Yeah, like I said, we'll have to just see. As the channel grows, we'll see what times work. Right now I like this because, from like, essentially from like 8:30 to 11, my day's kind of, chill. And then it starts to pick up, and that's why I got distracted, sometimes at 12, and there's just too many things going on at that time. So that's why I was like, hey, why don't we try 9 a.m.? So yeah. So today I'm not going to go too crazy in just because like it is a new change. So it's kind of, I might pause here for a second. Alright, I think it's done. Yeah. So real life will be tomorrow. I'm going to do I'm gonna set up a camera in the garage, and I'm starting to build a desk for someone. Actually, someone reached out to me and wants me to build them this huge desk, so that's kind of exciting. So I'm going to be doing that tomorrow for real life, and set that up and have that all nice. And like that stream will be essentially the whole day. Like I'll be streaming that, or as long as I'm taking to do that. So you can come in and out and see the progress of that. So yeah, just plan on that for tomorrow. But that's Tuesday, so I mean there wasn't really anything going on then. And maybe Wednesday even. See, that's another nice thing about doing it early in the morning is I could still do the study at 9, and then like at 10 or 11 start the real life of building or whatever we're doing at that time. So that's why I like this too. So it seems like it's going to work. After yesterday, He kind of shed off a few things. Like, so I deactivated my Facebook account because I was thinking about, I was like, oh, I don't want to be pushed, because I would post like all this Jcmovement stuff on there. But I was like, we don't need Facebook's help to grow, and that's why I was doing it. I was like, oh, because that's the role is like, oh, you need all the social media connection, to grow. Like that's how you market yourselves these days. But I feel that God doesn't want Jcmovement to do that. He doesn't want us to be a part of that social network because we are our own social network. That's different. So how are we different if we're, joining in the other ones essentially? So for me, that's what God had me do. So I'm not posting anything more on Facebook, any updates or anything. So if you do need to see updates, go to the. I'm gonna post this actually. The funny thing is, I posted this yesterday at this. Here. So from now on, I'm going to be posting everything on here. And if no one sees it, I'm fine with that. I don't do this for other people. I mean, saying that out loud, it's like I do, but I do it for the glory of God, which then He reveals it to other people. That's how the best way I think you can phrase that. Exciting. But I'm not saying like Facebook's not for, it's like we've been talking about personal perspective and your personal relationship with Jesus. So for me, I'm just letting you know that because that's just what, so you don't look for like updates or anything on there. That's why I'm saying it. But for other people, that's you pray about it. Essentially, but we don't want what people post on Facebook. We don't want that post on Jcmovement. This is all about Jcmovement. It's all about Jesus. The social media is all about Jesus. Facebook essentially is all about yourself, and people do post things about Jesus on there. I'm not saying there's not that. No, you don't have to stop inviting. Like I said, that's just me. But I didn't want you to go there and what's going on. That's just, like I said, that's just my perspective. Because I can't stop everyone and I can't control, so it's, like I said. But for me, I needed to set the example, and that's what I felt I needed to do. Because like I said, we don't want people posting about their lives, self-indulgence things. We want people posting about their lives, about what Jesus is doing, or, the questions about Jesus, or just everything based on heavenly wisdom and, what God is all about. If you go to Facebook, 1% is about what God, people post about like God and everything. But the other 99% is all self-indulgence, like, hey, look at me, I got this, or whatever, fake news, whatever. So that was my thing. So you can continue to post on there, and that's because that's you. I'm sure other people will. So it's like, I'm not going to try to sit here and control that, that was not what God was. So, and I'm not saying like Facebook's bad or anything. Like I said, for me, it's just not what the Lord wants for my life, in Jcmovement. And the funny thing is, He told me at the beginning, but I was like, oh, maybe if we post things to Facebook, see, my own understanding, that's what I thought. And like just yesterday, like He kind of hit me with like, I told you not to do anything on Facebook. But see, my understanding, I was like, oh, maybe I'll post things on Facebook. So we're putting Jcmovement on Facebook, not other way around. So like, but I felt like he doesn't want that. So, because he wants his growth to come organically, his growth to come from him. So if I post things on Facebook, trying to build it on Facebook, that growth comes from there. It's not organic. It's not, it's not essentially. Yeah, it's not organic. It's like not by. See, that's like I said, that's all personal. Because some people, God could have them post things on Facebook and stuff. Anyways, I know it's a long ramble of what I was trying to. My point, but point is, we just want growth from the Lord in His way to do it, of doing it, and that's going to be different than what has been done and what is being done. So that's what I felt. So yeah, continue to do what you feel. Like I'm not gonna, because I know you just text me that and asked me, do what you want and do what you feel. Because I'm sure other people are gonna post stuff on there. But if I set the example, people will be like, oh, why doesn't he ever post things on Facebook? To me, so for me, from an outward perspective as well, if I looked at Jcmovement and I see all these things, I really want to enter in the kingdom, and I want to find a social media or community that I can. And if you look at Jcmovement and it's all over Facebook, it's all interlined with Facebook. If you're really intelligent, you're not going to want to be like, why would I, be a part of that if it's part of the thing, But if you see like other people posting on there, be like, oh, well, other people are excited about it, that's why they're posting on Facebook. But the actual host or the owner or whatever you want to call it isn't posting on Facebook, so that means they're not trying to be a part of it. But other people, are excited about it. That's why they're still posting on it. To me, that makes sense. And if I saw that, I'd be like, okay, what does this ministry have that these other ministries don't? But like I said, it's all personal. Like I'm not talking bad about any other churches or whatever that post on Facebook. I'm just like, it's one of those like righteous anger things. It's just like, why do we got to do things the way the world says to do it? Why can't we just make our own way, make it Jesus' way, His own way? Like, why do we have to do what others have, like essentially copying so many other people? Yeah, because I know things work, and you have marketing strategies and stuff like that. So that's why it's whatever, but not for us. Not for us. Thanks. I do want to say more about it, but I don't want to go like. I think if I said more about it, people would get the wrong idea about it. So. But I know there's some truth to that statement. I don't know. This is what I'll say. So many churches and ministries are so dependent on their growth through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. How's that? Like, we're here to save the lost, but like if you look at the stats, the lost aren't being found, And because what is everyone doing? They're posting it on a network that was created for devilish things, for worldly things. So like when someone sees something on there, how can they see a difference? Oh, you're posting about God, but yet why are you conforming to the ways of the world? You're posting about God, you're posting godly things. Why are you conforming to the ways of the world though? I mean, I would love some feedback on this from like someone that why? And then you say, so I'm trying to think, maybe you can help me out with this. Did Jesus use any of the worldly ways to try to bring people to Him? Did Jesus did He teach, did He do something worldly to bring people closer to Him? My understanding and what I've read, I don't believe that He did that. I'll have to read and dive more into it, and since I'm hitting this topic. But I don't believe that He conformed to the ways of the world to teach His way. So why He taught the way He taught? He taught with authority and power under His name. See what yeah, exactly. So to me, conforming to the ways of the world to get people, to get believers, that's not going to work. Social media, like Facebooks and stuff social media is good, can be good. God created, and I'm not trying to promote Jcmovement. I mean, I'm sure there's other church social medias out there that are awesome. But if you look at the foundations of like Facebook, especially Facebook, it's all satanic of how they built. It's all self-indulgence, to be all about yourself, and why, and Instagram and Twitter are all the same. So it's like they're all part of the, like you could say they're part of the Illuminati or whatever, how you want to put it like that. But so that's just how I look at it. And I really feel that there's power behind that. Quit trying to conform to the ways of the world to gain people. Conform to the God's way, and He will bring people to you. That's how He did. Look at the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus was on the Sermon on the Mount. People gathered, because of the Sermon on the Mount. And then after his message, they knew it was good, and they felt the power. And that's what maybe we're, as a Christians, we're trying to depend on too many worldly things to get people. And maybe that's where that righteous anger comes from. So, but thanks for the encouragement. I feel it's truth. There's truth behind that. And I know, like, saying that, like, I can think of thousands of people that I know that, that are Christian, that it's like I said, it's all a perspective. But if you're a ministry trying to be different and, teach the ways of the Lord, why are you submitting to the way of the world? That's how I look at it. So, you'll get followers, you get people. I mean, it works, yeah. But are the, how is it done? Is that going to last? So, and I know it's a hard subject because we're social media, so it's like, but look what we were based on. Look what we were created for. We're created for the glory of God. It says it right there, to get closer to the Lord in the way of His life. So look at Facebook's, why they were started. So. See, that's the thing too, like if you, but I know you understand that. I'm sure some other people, I really hope it, makes people question what it, because it's not like, I'm not, like I said, it's all about, it comes down to between you and the Lord and what He has for you. And this is my perspective of how I see it, and how the way that Jesus taught. So that's, and if you're a Christian, you follow the way Jesus taught in His teachings. He didn't conform. He didn't say in one of His teachings, conform to the world's ways and then bring lost that way. It says actually run from the world, do not come from their ways, and then they will come to you. Something like that. You have to find that verse that I'm referencing. But it's, I know there's plenty of verses like say don't conform to the ways of the world. Like there's a verse that says that, and to me that's all you need to hear. So, anyways, I don't know why I got on this topic, but I know why, because the Lord wanted to share it and His truth. But it makes sense to me, because like if you look at the church, the Christian church, it's like going down. It's like less than a percent, and it just keeps on going down and down and down and down. And if you look at how these churches are, they're trying to do it the way the world is. They're trying to do, like the way. And see, that's a question I got to ask myself too. Is like with the live stream, is that the way of the world? Is the world? I would say yes, even because I have it on YouTube. That's something I need to pray about. God opens up a door that we don't have to use YouTube. So maybe that's what we're lacking to. Maybe I need to figure out how to do it through Jcmovement, the network, do a live stream to that. So and that's something you gotta pray about. See, and that's exactly a good example right there. Like, as being on YouTube, conforming to the ways of the world. Like I said, you're using a tool. Is it a tool? So then, can Facebook be a tool? So that's why I said it's all about your own personal perspective. What the Lord has for you. Just don't conform to the ways of the world to try to promote Jesus. That's all the point is, essentially. And the Lord is the only one that can answer that with you. For me, He didn't want to be a part of that. So, you know, and it could be because right now Jcmovement has a social media, so spend time on this social media, not on Facebook. I don't know. I'm not going to try to justify it and say why it's right. Like, I don't feel like I should be streaming on YouTube, so I need to find a different avenue for that. But then, see, if you ask yourself, like, oh, you don't want that to stop you. Yeah, but that's a hard one right there. Worldly systems, pride of life, lust for the eye, self-serving. Romans 12:2. Yeah, see, that's a hard one right there. See, now, so the reason why this came up is because God wanted to put in my perspective and what I use. You know, so I'm not trying to bash anyone. So now I'm like, oh man, I'm questioning it as well. Like, oh, am I using the way of the world? You know, streaming through YouTube. I would say yes, essentially. So I need to find a different way. I need to find a different way to stream, you know, through the Jcmovement network. Yeah, I'm not going to stop streaming. I think streaming, you know, is purposeful, the actual streaming part, but like what avenue are you going to use it is what I'm talking about. Because for example, social media, like that can be bad or good. So, yeah, it's just literally it's just through YouTube. Because here's another thing too, is like the stream could get so powerful that YouTube just literally shuts it down because it doesn't follow their way of their life, you know, the way they believe. You know, so they could literally snap their fingers, it's done. You know, then there's, so that, to me, that's where what runs to my head. So that means if they can do that, that means you're conforming to their ways of how to do things. Like you have to do it their way, essentially, or you get kicked, or you're not able to stream, or like for example, I have to have 1,000 subscribers to stream on my phone. You know, so that's one of their rules set in place. I understand why, because the way things are. I'm not saying I disagree about that, but it's just, I understand we gotta understand too. We do have set boundaries and laws, you know, of the earth. Like you can't go speeding around and stuff. That's why I said there's such a, like, where's the line, you know, and you can only answer that to yourself. You can only answer that in your perspective, in your personal relationship with Jesus. And if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, you're the only one that, I mean, I would pray that you would focus for that, you know, but you gotta see. So that's my goal. Figure out how to stream on the Jcmovement network. Because I mean, the technology is all good too. I'm not saying that's bad. So the technology to stream is out there. Just I'm using the platform of YouTube, which you don't need to, because I'm sure there's other technology out there to stream your own way, you know, through your own website essentially. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But for in the meantime, I will still, you know, stream. I mean, I will still stream on YouTube. But I say that and like I have like, it's like, hey, you're not practicing what you're preaching essentially. So I mean, like I said, you know, but I don't want. So yeah, I mean, like I question it, but then yeah, it's like it's weird. Yeah, so I guess that makes sense. So if he taught in a temple, so that temple was built by someone, built by like, you know, and then he used it as a platform. So yeah, like, yeah, still though, I think I still need to, it might take a little bit, because I'm sure, I don't know how much that is. So, I mean, I'm going to have to, God will open up a door, if it, however much it costs really. But so that's going to be my goal. I'll still continue to stream on YouTube. You know, I'll see, I don't know. I mean, it's like I say that though, and it's like, I don't want the message to stop, essentially. I don't want the the word of God to stop, and the power that the Lord. This verse does pop to my head that He does use things that were meant for bad for good, so He can and He. So I do have understood. I guess maybe I'm trying to think about too much, and essentially the it comes down to do not conform to the ways of the world to try to promote Jesus and try to teach Jesus. I think that's what the message comes down to, and that's a personal perspective and your personal opinion. So that makes me, and that's like your relationship with the Lord that you need to understand. But I agree. I don't think I need to find a way to do the stream on Jcmovement, but for now we'll use YouTube. YouTube essentially was like a launching point to see how well if I would participate and be a part of it, if I enjoy it. Now that I enjoy it, and now it's time to invest into doing it on Jcmovement. So that's cool. Genesis 50:20. You intended to harm me, but God intended for good, accomplish what is now being done, the savings of many lives. So that even questions, like, is Facebook okay? Is it okay to go in there and, promote and try to get Jesus, like, say good things about the Lord? Talking about the Lord is never bad. But it goes, something. So, I don't know. I guess the whole thing was just, I feel there's a lot of people trying to conform to the world's ways to teach Jesus when Jesus never intended that. And I think that's what the soul message is about. And Facebook is a way you can do that. YouTube is a way you can do that. So essentially, if you're doing that, you have to be very careful. Very careful that you don't cross that line, because God won't bless it. He wants. Why do you think He created us? Why do you think He allows all these things to happen? Because He wants to show His love to us, and His power. And if we're trying to play God or do things, our way, and we push God aside, it's not going to be of God, because we're not accepting it. So that's what it comes down to. Anyways, I guess that was to answer your question in a long a 40-minute answer to your question, I guess. But I guess you just have to. So as the question was me just not posting on things prematurely, I don't know. We'll see. I still think I was supposed to do what I did, like deactivate my account on there, and not promote, like push, because like what I said before in the beginning is like if you have a new believer that's intelligent, and you're posting things on there, but then yet you're a social media as well. For example, you don't see, like, I think Facebook and Instagram, they work together, so you do see them posting stuff, but you don't see like Twitter promoting Facebook on it. Essentially, you can look at it that way. So you're really, yeah, it's a competition essentially. On our end, it's a competition that everyone can be a part of. The glory of God and Jesus. On their end, their competition is promoting their own agenda. So you don't want to be a part of that. So that makes sense. Okay. So I'm just trying to understand out loud, I guess, think out loud. So I feel that, so now here's a question. So then there's a difference with YouTube. Right now, Jcmovement doesn't do live streaming. It's not like YouTube. It doesn't have, we do have videos on Jcmovement through YouTube. So right now we're not in competition, as of this moment. But once we become, have that live stream, YouTube has their agenda. We essentially have the agenda of the Lord and His kingdom. So that's why you can't be a part of it. I think that makes sense. But then it says, where's it? But you need to love your enemies, you need to love. So like, I'm not saying like YouTube or Facebook's an enemy. You need to love them. If they're promoting, sin and death and steal and destruction, you don't want to be a part of that. I don't know, that's a whole, I'll have to pray for understanding on that. But I feel we need to move off YouTube onto the Jcmovement network. Like that needs to be the goal. But don't stop the stream because you don't want the flow of Jesus to stop. You know, and he's using it as a template to speak through. And that's what, and like he can use Facebook for some people. But I think I feel that's the difference. If you're trying to captivate people from Facebook and bring them to your, so it's like essentially it's a war, you know, between good and bad. And in a war, you try to capture people and bring them to your side. Essentially, you know, I know you try to destroy each other, but like you can also capture people and try to bring them onto your side. So that's essentially the thing is. But there's a difference trying to build your camp in the enemy's camp, essentially, and try to, you know, be a part of like, oh, I'm gonna. So essentially, here's a good picture. I picture. So you have a war, two sides. Okay, you can go over here and bring people to your side, or you can build your camp in there, surrounded by the enemy, and then you start conforming to their ways. You're on this side. You conform to their side. You're on this side. When this is essentially God's side, you still need to be over here and bring people over to here. You don't need to go over here and be a part of this side. Yep, there's the understanding and the difference. And if you're intelligent, you can figure that out. Pray about it. Ask Jesus for insight on that, because that's the truth right there, and that's what it boils down to. So that's the difference. You know, we're using YouTube to try to captivate people and bring them over to, you know, God and His kingdom. But if you're trying to build your church in the enemy camp and be part of it, then you conform to the enemy's ways, essentially. So that makes sense to me, and I think that's what the Lord is trying to. That's the understanding of that I just asked for. Hey, look, so Jacob's son did. That's my name. So yeah, that's the difference. So I think that's where you need to pray and like, hey, is that what you're doing? Because I mean, even like, I don't want to start conforming to the ways of YouTube. So literally, I mean, that's what it is. So we're trying to get people, and we have somewhere to bring them. You know, the kingdom of God. So that's good. Yeah, so I'll have to. That makes sense. I'm trying to get another point across, but it's not coming out. Yeah. So what I think we should do is find, if you could do me a favor, can I give you some homework? And I'll do some homework as well. Can we find some verses that relate to what we just talked about? I know we already did. You busted up, but can you email them all the verses, and then Wednesday we can go over all those. So if you can find as many verses that relate to, so let's look at like the teachings of Jesus and how he taught, which was all through Acts and, you know, all that. Let's find how Jesus called us to build a kingdom, you know, verses that relate to that, like how do we build a kingdom, verses that like relate to like how we treat our enemies. Like I know it says we love our enemies, but like how, like I'm thinking of words like, do we like not to conform to their ways, not to conform to the worldly ways, stuff like that. And I think let's focus on that, because I want to back this up with the Bible, you know, these points that were just brought out, and I want to dive more into it because it is what we are. We're social media, so I want to make sure, you know, we're on the right path. So yeah, homework time. Yep, exactly. So we're trying to draw this line so people can understand the difference of what is the heavenly side and the worldly side. because so many people are mixed and discombobulated. So we're trying to, I think this will help draw the line of like, all right, what does it mean to be godly and what does it mean to be worldly? You know, in this perspective. And this is a great topic because Jcmovement is a social media platform, you know. So like, what is our different? And this is going to be, so it'll be a path of like what is different between Jcmovement, you know, and Facebook essentially. So I like that. That'll make sense to me. Yeah, because that was the thing. Like, I was posting everything on Facebook, but not on Jcmovement. Like, because I would post like, "Oh, hey, the stream's starting soon." You know, I would post that on Facebook, but not on the network. And I was like, why would I do that? See, to me, if I was someone looking at this and be like, "Oh, he doesn't post anything on here," you know, what's the purpose? You know, it's like that. That was how I picture it. Yeah. So, I'm not trying to promote Jcmovement. I'm trying to promote the Lord. It's all about Jesus. Just that's what Jcmovement is focused on, is Jesus and his way and his teachings. That's what this network is all about. And building a community, building us as one flock. You know, bringing us together. Do we even have... Yeah, see, so we have these videos. Yeah, see, I don't like this because then it says YouTube, so then YouTube's on our... Yeah, so I gotta figure out how to change that. Yeah, I don't like that. That makes sense. Alright, so that's our next... Because, I mean, on our server we could save videos and don't have to... see, but this is the whole... Yeah, it's gonna take some work. Shoot. Yeah, thinking about that now. That's gonna take some work. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Well, if it's of God and God wants to change it, he'll open up a door for us to, you know, have someone come here and change that whole platform for us so we can live stream and upload videos on the network and just have it all on Jcmovement. And that is the goal. So, and I mean, maybe that's the intention right there. Have that understanding, that tension in your heart, because God knows our heart. So that's the intention. You know, we're just trying to work towards that. You know, so. Yeah, we're not trying to build our camp in YouTube, essentially. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's just need what you ask yourself. So, cool. All right. Yes, homework, wrote notes. I'm on it and love it. Love research, John. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's give my daily bread, right. My prayer is not for alone. I pray for those who will believe in you through their message, that all may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and you in me, so that you may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. Yeah, see, this is, so reading this, like, I know Jesus is talking about himself, but like even reading it, like parts of these, like you could say about yourself, like God sent, like us, like what did he send me for to do, you know. I have given them glory that you gave me, you know, so God's, you know, you can take that to a personal effect, that they may be one as we are one. You could take that, I in them and you and me. So I mean that, you know, we're not in other people, it's Jesus who he's talking about. So I mean that you can't take as personal, so that they may be brought. But just I like that verse because you can just pray that personally as well. A little part of it. So cool. Yeah. So let's look at that, and then we'll just pray for a goal for Jcmovement of what God wants for this and where He wants this to go. And I mean, we know where it is. We just have to pray for a door to open up that we can have someone can come in, because that's a lot of coding and programming that I do not know how to do at the moment. Or that's another thing. He give me insight on how to do it, and I can just boom, boom, boom. So I'm not too far from being able to do stuff like that. So that's what we'll just pray for. So then everything could be just on the Jcmovement network. All the videos and everything just get uploaded to this. So that'd be cool. But essentially the goal, the one point that we said, and just don't build your camp in the enemy territory. We're supposed to bring people from the enemy side over to us. And we're supposed to love them and be there for them. So it's a little different than you would picture a war, like a natural war. So, yeah, I like that. Very cool. That makes sense. All right, so we got the new stream schedule. We got the new understanding of what we're headed and what God's going to do. We're here for God's glory and God's power through this network, and we're just solely dependent on that. We're not going to depend on other things. Right now we have to depend on YouTube a little bit, but that's just like a platform we're using. But our goal is to break away from that platform. Yeah, so like you can look at it as like some churches start in a little school, and then they go to like their own building. So I mean that's kind of like our perspective. We're starting with what we have, and God's going to open up the doors and show His glory through opening up, and growing His ministry. So that's cool. It's part of the growth process. God can't just start us like boom. So yeah, I like that. It's a good perspective. I pray that, if someone watches this and you felt, attacked, like, oh, I post stuff on Facebook. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm just trying to, for me, like I said, this was maybe a stream just for me, for my understanding of what needs to happen with Jcmovement, in my perspective, but if you definitely feel that, definitely pray to the Lord and see what He has for you. The beauty of this is we're not supposed to stay stale in where we're standing. We're not just supposed to stay at this point. We're supposed to move on in points across our walk with Christ, until we get to our eternal home. God just doesn't want us to stay stagnant in a singular place, and that's part of this. Jcmovement's goal is to grow, and this is part of the growth process. So definitely, if you felt that, pray about it, focus on the Lord, and see where you got to grow. We got to grow from, and then also say like, oh, am I trying to build my camp in an enemy territory, or whatever. So, like I said, awesomeness. All right, I'm gonna go buy some supplies for making a desk tomorrow for real life. If you guys want to join in on that, we'll be here tomorrow. Just having a stream with some music going, and you can watch me build a desk. So awesome. The beauty of this is, what I love about it is Jesus was a carpenter, and He has me building furniture. So that's cool. For me, I try to live my life as close as Jesus, and that's why I like it, because it's like my Father did it, so I'm going in my Father's footsteps of being a carpenter in a sense. So, cool. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you understand everything. If you have any questions, please comment or get a hold of me, contact me, whatever means necessary. Go through the net, jcmovement.com, post on there and say, hey, I totally disagree with what you said. Awesome. Let's talk about it. I want some disagreements, because that helps bring understanding. If everyone just agrees with me, it's just like, okay, then you guys are just agreeing to agree, But I know there's going to be people that disagree, and I want to hear. So, awesome. Love you guys. See you later. I'm just going to end the stream real quick. I'm going to go to the end screen and then just cut it. So thank you guys. Love you. See you tomorrow.
Come on, with everything we got. God above the world in motion. Hey, God above all my hopes and fears. the generations, making loud our freedom song. Come on. Holding on that the world would know your name. Yeah, it's gonna be alright, 'cause I know my God saved the day, and I know His word never fails, and I know my God made a way for me. Yeah, salvation is here. Hey. Do you believe that? See, God above the world in motion. Sing it out. Well, I don't care what the world throws at me now. Yeah, it's gonna be alright, 'cause I know my God saved the day, and I know His word never fails, and I know my God made a way for me. It's gonna be alright, 'cause I know my God saved the day, and I know His word never fails, and I know my God made a way for me. Salvation is here. Oh, Lord. Come on. Salvation is here. Salvation is here, and He lives in me. Salvation is here. Salvation, He died just to set me free. Salvation is here. Salvation is here, and He lives in me. Salvation is here. 'Cause you